the film industry needs to see more stories like Made with Love, because individuals with Down syndrome or any special need, they need to be represented.
What if a movie could change the way we see the world? That's the goal of Made with Love, the movie, a groundbreaking film that's going to break down barriers and inspire hearts. Made with Love is a movie in the making, and today I'm talking with the writer and director David Hewins and his son Jackson about the journey they're following to create a movie that has the potential to change the way people view individuals with Down syndrome. If you want to help bring this incredible journey to the big screen, be sure to listen to the end and find out how you can partner with David and Jackson. Welcome to the Water Prairie Chronicles, a podcast for special needs parents. I'm your host, Tonya Wallum, and I'm glad you're here. David and Jackson, welcome to Water Prairie.
Well, thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yes.
Listeners, you heard Matthew Schwab last week. We were talking about his speaking engagements and how he's advocating for the rights of Down syndrome individuals to be able to work in jobs in their community. And if you missed that, go back and make sure that you listen to that. I'll link it here for you. It's in the show notes. But we mentioned a little piece of anticipation that he and his fiance have about their wedding and their reception. And when you hear that part, David and Jackson are who started that part of the conversation. So it's just kind of fun that we were able to connect together so close to when we were able to present Matthew's platform as well. So of course that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. I just thought I would give you a little link there between the two. But we are going to be talking about Down syndrome and how that affects us, how we have friendships, how we have community connections. And this is what I thought was so exciting about meeting David and Jackson together and hearing what they're doing. So listeners, now that you're totally confused, I thought I'd have them, maybe let's just start out by, what is your connection with the Down syndrome community? How did you get started there?
Well, absolutely. So I have a really good friend who adopted a young man who has Down syndrome. And we met Jay a good 8 years ago, and just developed a friendship through those 8 years. And at the time, Jackson and I were living in Raleigh, North Carolina.
I was still in high school.
Yeah.
As Jay says, I was a tiny
You were
kid.
tiny. You were a little baby. And so Jackson moved to Atlanta and got into the film business. And then a year or so later, I moved to Atlanta to get into the film business. And when we got here, of course, we got to spend more time with Jay because he lives in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And when he found out that we were here to make movies, he said, well, I've always wanted to be a movie star. You should make a movie about me. And, we're like, oh, okay, Jay, that'd be great. That'd be great. What's that supposed to be about? And he said, just go home, think about me, and write. And so I did. And 2 weeks later, I had a wonderful movie called Made with Love. And so that's our connection. And kind of once, I started looking into writing the movie, of course, I wanted Jay to be presented in the best light possible and the Down syndrome community. So as a responsible author, I thought I need to learn as much as I can. So I started researching into the Down syndrome community, started going to conventions.
You get connected on the social media, like on Instagram and Facebook, and met everybody there. Your fiance, Amy, she got us connected in. She really helped us get connected into the community, and she became a super fan of all these accounts, and kind of was like, you've got to hear about this person. Look at what this person is doing.
Yeah. So that's how we got into the community, and just have fallen in love with the Down syndrome community. And now, it's just kind of changed the trajectory of our lives. And we've been working for over 2 years now on this, trying to raise the money for this film.
Right. And we met Matthew Schwab at NDSC last year. I was like basically a year ago. Yeah. We met him down in Florida. And when we realized, you're also from North Carolina? That's where I grew up. And we were like, we've got to connect. And that eventually led to us doing the interview with him and Lucia recently here. Yeah. And that's what you were talking about earlier, our connection there, and the whole shout out to Big Time Rush, which that clip, we posted that on our social media, ended up being, that's our most viral clip on our account.
So millions and millions of views, and just, so cool.
So it's been such a fun and unexpected journey from meeting Jay until now, and we're just so grateful to be a part of it.
So you met Jay in North Carolina or in Atlanta?
In Atlanta. He lives in Atlanta. So we would make trips down here for various reasons. Jackson got an internship at Turner Broadcast, which was Turner Broadcast at the time, now Warner Media. And so we would come down, and we were looking for a place for him to live during the summer during that internship. And we would stop at my friend's house and hang out with Jay and color. That was what he loved to do. And we loved hanging around him. So we just made fast friends with Jay.
And we recently did a whole video that's in depth on how Jay came to be a part of our friend's family. So yeah, Dawn is your friend that you grew up with. She was like your childhood friend.
Yeah. I've known Dawn since middle school.
And then Jay came into the picture only about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was because Dawn's daughter, Lucy, met him at high school, and just that's like a whole movie right there. And we recently told that story of how they adopted Jay when he was 18. And you can see that video on our YouTube channel and on our social media. And that has also been gaining a lot of traction. So that's been really cool.
Yeah. And that we're doing a little mini documentary video series now called Stories Made with Love. So the movie's called Made with Love. And we're doing these little mini documentaries called Stories Made with Love. And we did the one on Matthew and Lucia. And that was where the whole Big Time Rush thing came out.
We'll put the links to your YouTube channel in the show notes, because I think it'd be important for our listeners to check out what you're doing there. I've seen what you're referring to. You're doing a great job with this little mini series, because it's very interesting. It hooks you right in. But listeners, if you go and watch these, you're really just going to see why love fits this, because their personalities just come out, and you're doing a great job with not only the questioning side of what you're doing, but just kind of pulling these stories out. So they're very interesting. They're easy to listen to, but especially our parents who have children with Down syndrome and our professionals that are working there, I think they'll see a lot through what you're portraying in the miniseries. But moving into the movie, I love the title Made with Love. So you've got your Made with Love series, the docu-series, whatever you're going to call this, and the movie itself. The name is beautiful. It doesn't say Down syndrome. It's going to be obvious as you're presenting and as you're looking more. But how is the movie itself going to portray individuals with Down syndrome and that message that you're trying to get across?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, Jackson came up with the title, Made with Love. We had a different title, and just wanted to come up with something that fit better. And there is a cooking theme in it. It's about the transformative relationship between Jay and this old, retiring, jaded home ec school teacher who wants to open a little cafe and just kind of do his recipes and live out his life. So there's the double entendre of when you make a meal, it's made with love, right? If you do it, put your heart into it. But then as we looked at, especially our friend Jay, he's just made with love. And so are all individuals with Down syndrome. Some people say that extra chromosome is the chromosome of love. Some people say it's the dance chromosome. I don't know. It could be.
Yeah, it's like in their genetic recipe, they have a little extra love in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we thought the name was fitting with that. But anyway, talking about individuals with Down syndrome, that kind of, the name does tie into it, because that is the hope that what viewers would take away from is, wow, people with Down syndrome and just everyone that we come across in our lives are made with love, and to see everyone as valuable. And specifically, we feel really strongly about showing people like Jay to show their value, because just the way that people are raised, there's a lack of education around this. And, it's not necessarily that people are raised with evil intentions or anything, but just a lot of people are uneducated to know that people with Down syndrome are as valuable as they are,
yeah,
and that their lives are a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, they're marginalized, and that's just the truth of the matter. So our hope is that we will raise awareness and show their love and joy that they have, will show their worth and value and how they can be, productive members of our society. And it's our hope that we can turn the termination rate around, because we can't imagine our life without Jay. So, we want to educate people to make the best decision possible.
One area that our parents who have children with Down syndrome will know what I'm saying here. Sometimes our parents face challenges in how their children are perceived. And you mentioned that a little bit, how they're already being marginalized. As with any disability, there's a spectrum of abilities. Um, and we are talking about the love side of things, but we're also talking about a population of people who have various emotions. So, listeners, we're not saying that 100% of the time, every minute of the day, they're always going to just be generating love and nothing else. These are people just like you and I are. Everyone has emotions. We all have good days and bad days, good moments and bad moments. And you can be looked at in a negative way, and it can really hurt no matter who you are. So, does Made with Love, is it going to address any negative perceptions about Down syndrome?
Yeah, I mean, it will definitely do that. In this story, the older gentleman, he has a lot to learn, and he has, preconceptions, and he has to come around. Um, and so there's a lot of growth in his character arc. And so we'll present that through his lens. There are other characters in the story as well that have to overcome their, misbelief or whatever it might be. So yeah, like I said, in the story, it's one story. It's based off of, inspired by my friend Jay.
Mm-hmm.
It is fiction, but I had to pick a way. I had to go, all right, I'm going to write the story. It can't be all things for all people. So it is a story based on it, and really shows Jay's personality. It shines through in the movie. And like I said, it's just to go, this person has worth and value, and we need to represent that, and we need to include him, and we need to embrace that. So
and through the highs and lows, he has worth and value, and you show that in Jay's character in the story, is that he and the old man, their relationship, there are scenes where there's tension, there's conflict between them.
Yeah.
And Jay is not just a super happy, 100% smiling all the time guy in the movie, because that's not how he is in real life. I argue with him. He'll FaceTime me, and we'll play. We'll like tickle each other through FaceTime over the phone, and laugh and laugh and laugh. And then sometimes, we'll argue on FaceTime about things, and we'll work through things about the movie. So just like any other friendship that I have. So you reflect that in the story, and that does play a factor into the character arc of the old man, of going, oh man, like Jay's pushing me, like he's pushing my limits right now, but I still love him so much. And the question we're asking his audience is the old man going to change? Is he going to fight for Jay when it comes down to it? Is he willing to put his dreams on the line for Jay?
Right.
And that's a part that I really related to when I first read the screenplay, was this old man's character arc. It's not such a dramatic character arc of he was once a man who actively made fun of people with disabilities and hated people with disabilities. No, he was a school teacher. He cared about people, and he cares about children, and he loves to see people grow and learn. So from the get-go, he's very peaceful towards Jay. But when Jay comes into his life and potentially gets in the way of his plans for his cafe, then it tests him, because this is more of a story of this argument that we kind of see with doctors when they give a diagnosis to someone. They say, oh, your child has Down syndrome. There's this idea that, is this child going to be a burden, or is that actually not true? And this can be a blessing to us. And so that's kind of what the story really deals with, is like, is Jay going to get in the way of my time and my plans? He really he cares about Jay from the beginning, but is he willing to prioritize Jay over his sort of earthly plans. So I'm really excited for it.
Just the way that you answered that question, it makes it sound very exciting and listeners, you may not have a child with Down syndrome, you may not know anyone, but you have a child with a disability, and you're going to be able to connect with some of this, I think, just in how your child may be perceived by others. So I can see this reaching a broader audience along with your purpose of presenting Down syndrome in a positive light and seeing the value that we have there. My audience, we're across the board. I have a visually impaired child. I have a child with invisible disabilities, but I've had those same feelings that you're describing here, and they've been received in that same way, and sometimes in a negative way, until others kind of open and see them for who they are and not for what they thought they were going to be. So, so I could see that people like myself even connecting on this storyline in other ways. So I see it reaching a broader audience, maybe than what you're even intending. I saw on your YouTube channel that you have a proof of concept video out. Is that going to stay out for a while? Can we link that for our listeners to kind of get an idea of what you were describing?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's it's great that we made that to show just the quality that we're going for. The level of acting. So people could see Jay on the big screen, and we've had a great feedback on that. So yeah, it'll be there on our website. Please check it out.
Mm-hmm.
What is the time frame of what you're looking at? When do you think the project will be completed?
Film industry is kind of a crazy place, and being independent filmmakers and not tied to a major studio, what we have to do is we have to raise the funds for the budget. We're trying to raise $2 to $3 million. And, it's kind of the economy's been a little bumpy here the past couple of years. The film industry's been a little bumpy with strikes going on, changes in streaming and all of that. So it's a matter of raising that money. And that's kind of one reason we made the proof of concept. It's one reason we're doing this mini documentary series, is just to get out and make connections and network, hopefully to find that person who has a heart and the pocketbook that can help us get this film done. We're doing crowdfunding right now. We started it last year, and it's open so you can donate and help us. But it's going to take a lot of folks. I mean, we've already had over 4,000 people. 4,000 people give their hard-earned money to this project. So we know that there is an audience out there that understands what we're doing. But it's a big hurdle to get over that 3 million. So we don't know. I mean, it could take several more years.
We've had so many people who give the best amount that they can, and young people, old people, just everybody has given, small amounts, big amounts. It's crazy how much support we've had.
But $5 to $10,000.
Right. And like families have come together to donate a big chunk of money. So it's been amazing to get to that 2 to 3 million in a timely manner. I think we're going to need to make a connection with a person who has a big chunk of that 2 to 3 million, and has the capacity and the means to donate to this as their cause. Because there are a lot of people who have that kind of money, but they already have really meaningful causes that they are invested in.
But getting on a podcast like this is how we network.
Right.
So if there are any of your listeners that go, oh, you know what, I know somebody, or I know somebody that knows somebody, that's where this is going to happen. We're going to reach the right person.
Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, that's why we thought, hey, let's travel the country. Let's tell these stories with the little camera that we have, and make these little no budget documentaries. So it's like using what we have to try to level up to, maybe on our travels, we will meet somebody who can help us get to that 2 to 3 million, or maybe we will post one of these mini documentaries and it'll blow up and Big Time Rush will see it. And, the uncle Big Time Rush guy will say, hey, we want to help make this happen.
Absolutely.
So we're along for the ride, and we're open to what happens. But some people have asked us like, hey, why not just make the movie for a low budget and with what you have now?
Yeah.
And that is a possibility, but right now we feel called to make, like you just said, this is something that could reach wide audiences. And unless you're making a very niche horror movie, it's kind of hard to make a low budget film get out to that many
Yeah,
people.
because if it looks low budget or you don't have good actors or good locations, then people are going to stumble over that and not want to go see it because they don't think that it's a quality film. So that's why we're shooting for that certain range.
Because we want it to get
we want to spread
it far and wide.
And not that we want to be, we want to reap the rewards of it, but that we want it to spread, and raise awareness as far and wide as possible.
Because Jay told us that his Nana, his grandma, told him when he was a kid that his purpose is to shine his light. And he took that to mean that he needs to be a movie star. And he has said, I want my face to be on as many big screens as possible. So that is really the motivation. The film business is like the worst business to get into for like financial stability or thinking that you're going to get rich or anything. Like if that's why what we were in this for, we would be out of our minds. We should definitely go do something else. So really the motivation every day is how can we get that dream that started back when Jay's Nana told him that to shine his light. That's the motivation for us every day. Is like Jay's purpose is to be on the big screens. So how can we make that happen?
Yeah. Jay is one that I'm hoping to eventually have on the podcast. We'll see if I can connect with him or not. But I think my listeners will enjoy meeting him as well. And you're right. I mean, this industry is almost like opening a restaurant. You might as well just do both together, trying to survive for very long. And I applaud you for holding out to make this the quality that you want, because you're right. As soon as you release it as a low budget film, and if it comes across that way, that's what everyone's going to talk about is the quality, and they're going to miss the picture of what you're telling. So waiting a little bit longer probably is worth that. But listeners, check the show notes. We're going to have this link. It'll be the top of it if you're watching the YouTube channel. It'll be before the fold even, so you can get the link to where their funding is. And I'd encourage you to consider, if it's $5 a month, whatever you can do, see if you can help us get this out there. I want to see this on many big screens, not just a little bit, so we can get this message out. And I just see so much value coming from this. So I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. But I think it's gonna have a huge impact whenever it does come out. So you've talked about the miniseries already. You talked about the movie. What else is going on right now? Do you have some other projects that you're working through? I mean, you probably both have like 100 if your brain is working like mine is. But what else are you working on right now?
Yeah, so I mean, we are having to try to make a living. So we do pick up freelance work where we can. I moved down here 4 years ago and had been living off of savings, which is just about toward the end there. So we're both picking up work, trying to keep the ball rolling. So that is something that is consuming, but we do put all of our energy into Made with Love. And now this, the mini documentary series, Stories Made with Love. I mean, we just got back from Tampa, Florida yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We went down there.
Florida.
Yeah. To interview a family with a young man who is about 5 years old who has Down syndrome. So beautiful, such a neat story, such a cute kid. And we kind of followed them around in, day in the life of, to see how they are working. So that was good for us to get somebody younger. And
yeah, that's our first episode with somebody that is that young.
Yeah. And then we have somebody else on deck that has a child that's even younger than that. So we want to kind of just represent the whole, age spectrum and ability spectrum and kind of get that out there. So that's what we're really working hard on right now.
Jackson, outside of this, what else are you doing? Or are both of you working together?
Yes. Yeah.
We work together, and then, separately, sometimes on freelance, I might have a commercial shoot or something that I go on. Jackson does a lot of editing. You can talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been editing for a YouTuber. He makes fun, inspirational, and just silly adventure videos. And his name is Preston Goes. If you just want a fun laugh, I've been working more and more with him as an editor and sort of storyteller, and I'll also help him shoot sometimes. And I always make sure to wear my Made with Love merch anytime I'm on camera in his videos. So it's kind of like a free billboard, free advertising. And yeah, it's been fun. And I've kind of been getting to grow my storytelling abilities working with him on those jobs, because his videos are kind of like mini documentaries as well. So it's kind of a way to grow my storytelling abilities. So then when we get to work like we just did this shoot down in Tampa, I can be even sharper with my craft. So this is my passion. I mean, my dad inspired me. I want to be in his footsteps and write and direct and edit movies one day. So yeah, I am all in on this. And I mean, we've been spending a lot of time on Made with Love for the past 2 years, not working any jobs. For a while, we kind of just been cruising off of savings. And recently I had a car problem. And I was like, okay, I probably shouldn't just like let my bank account go down to zero. So I have been picking up more jobs like this. Yeah, it's been awesome. And, you know, I also, my mom, she's had a big career in PR. So she's always like helping me out. And, because I really head up a lot of our marketing. We've done a ton of marketing for Made with Love already. Just us here in our house trying to figure out what can we do next, what can we post on our social media. So I feel like I've been really fortunate to have two parents that are very creative and just raise me in this way that's like perfect for this mission of raise the money, make the movie.
Yeah.
So that's every day. And hey, Jay too, I got to give him a ton of credit because not only did he inspire this whole thing, he's changed our lives, but we have calls basically, it's like almost every day he's FaceTiming us and he's telling us, hey, here's a new idea of how to promote the movie and get the money.
Yeah, he calls and it's like, where are we on the movie? Where are, you know, he lights a fire under us, and it's like, oh, we should have a blog. We should do a record deal.
Let's start a band.
Let's start a band. Let's call the governor. I mean, it's just crazy. So, you know, that's why we work so hard, because we know Jay wants this bad.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think it needs to happen. We've got to get it out there. This season, I've been having each of my guests share some advice to my listeners through finishing some statements that I give them. And haven't figured out the best way to introduce this. I do a little bit different every time, but that's kind of in a nutshell what we're doing here. So I have, I think I have 3 for the two of you. I'm going to let you decide who answers. If you both want to answer, that's fine too. So I'm going to say the statement. I'm going to have you repeat it after me, and then you'll finish it. So the first one, the greatest takeaway I want parents to have from Made with Love is that.
The greatest takeaway I want parents to have from Made with Love is the worth and value of those individuals with Down syndrome, and the love and joy that they can bring to the world, right? And that they should be included and accepted in all walks of our society.
So number 2, when it comes to appreciating individuals with Down syndrome, we should all remember.
When it comes to appreciating individuals with Down syndrome, we should all remember that we are more alike than we are different. And that's inspired by Matthew Schwab.
That's right.
And just the things, his talking points in his speech. And that's something that I've really found, like even just in Tampa this week, hanging out with Brody and us riding to this restaurant together and him back in the car seat and us just making faces at each other and like doing like little Spider-Man gestures, like and like having fun and laughing with each other. And it's like, man, at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter if we're talking and understanding each other. We all have such worth and value to bring to this life, and we all just want to interact with each other and experience love between each other.
Yeah.
And we all just want to feel loved and seen. And we just want to feel like we have friends and have friendships. So it's like everybody that we have met on this journey of doing these little mini documentaries, whether it's the subject of the documentary like Brody or Brody's parents, or whether it has been the people that have welcomed us to where we're staying, it's like, wow, we all are the same. And whether our capabilities of speech are different or anything, our communication are different, really, it's all leveled out by the fact that we are meant to experience love.
And the last one, the film industry needs to see more stories like Made with Love because.
The film industry needs to see more stories like Made with Love because individuals with Down syndrome or any special need, they need to be represented because they are out there in our society. And, you know, even though we've made a lot of strides and currently they're still marginalized, and they need to be in every facet. I mean, Jay wants to be the star, but I want to make sure that we include people from this community in all aspects of our production. I would love them behind the camera. I met a young man who wanted to be a director and told his parents, I said, when we get rolling, I'd love for him to be my personal assistant and be right there with me. So I think, also in the film industry, we need more positive, encouraging, uplifting films like this, just to spread love to a world that desperately needs it. And I just, there's a lot of media that is not that way. So,
and we want to show people with Down syndrome as role models on screen. Yes, realistically, and all the best characters, like one of my favorites, Woody from Toy Story or Marlin from Finding Nemo, they have flaws, and that's good to show that we don't have to be perfect to be worthy and valuable, but still a role model, still somebody that young Brody can look up at the screen and go, oh, okay, so this is what I can be like in this world. This is the impact that I can have on other people. We want to hold people that standard and not stoop down to a lower standard just for a laugh or something, because yes, Jay can say something and get a laugh, but he can also use his words to encourage, build people up, and inspire. And we've seen him do that on social media. We've seen comments of people say, I was feeling down and depressed today, and I heard Jay say this inspiring thing in this video, and it's just the thing I needed. So we want to lift people up.
You made a point at the beginning of the statement that how important representation is. And that I hear time after time on this podcast this season. I've interviewed people who have a child who has such a rare condition that there might be 5 other people in the world that have ever had it that's ever been identified. That child has a hard time connecting with someone else, and that parent has a hard time connecting with someone else who understands who they are. And it's so important that we have this representation. We may not be able to get that rare disease portrayed easily on the screen, but we can represent with true representation, not an actor pretending to have that condition, as much as possible. And I love the idea of you saying, bring him on doing some of the different tasks around beyond just what the screen is showing. What's behind it would be a great collection there. So parents, there's a lot for you to connect with here. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that you find what they're doing on social media, on YouTube, and we're going to be cheering you on as we're going here. So last option here, shout out how they can find you directly on social media. Where are all your platforms, and what are the connections? And listeners, will put these in the show notes, but just hear it here as well.
We have a website called madewithlovethemovie.com, Made with Love the Movie, and you can find us on Facebook at the same, Made with Love the Movie. You can find us on Instagram,
Made with Love the Movie. If you scroll down to the bottom of our website, you'll see all of our social media channels, the little icons linked down there.
Yeah.
And then our YouTube channel, where we've been sharing these mini documentaries, is just Made with Love, just like on my hat here, just Made with Love.
And thank you both for being here today. I've learned more about what even having looked at your channels and all, I learned more about what's happening here. Again, I love everything that I'm hearing about this, and we'll be supporting you, but also I'm hoping that some of our listeners will join on as well. So thank you both for taking the time to just explain all this to us.
Thank you for having us on.
Yes.
And thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining me today. If you want to help David and Jackson be able to finish the movie Made with Love, you can find the links in the show notes. In the next episode, I'll be talking with Susie Forbes about the neurobiology of mischief and regulation. If you know any mischievous little ones, you won't want to miss that one. I'll see you then.